One was committed to, one was
Signing day is a little crazy, even for us around here. A 30-minute head start on what is going to be a terrific day. Welcome to the High School Football Network's National Signing Day event, live from the Clarion Ledger in downtown Jackson. I'm Jeremy Kennedy, alongside Christian Bird. It's the day everybody's waited for, whether you're playing or coaching or certainly a fan, when high school athletes get a chance for the first time to make a declaration for real as to where they're going to play college football next season.
It really is incredible just how recruiting has evolved really over the last several years, and to see where it is now, it's an amazing thing. I know so many people that are kind of locked in front of screens that are watching so closely, constantly hitting the refresh button at work. It's a big day for fans now more than ever, and so as each person follows their team, it's one of those things where you kind of hold your breath, hope the player that you've watched film on, hope the player you've seen maybe play on the gridiron yourself turns into a player that you can cheer for on Saturdays.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting day. We've got 8 players who will sign. We've got a 9th who, a little bit of drama back and forth. We'll explain that later. We're proud to partner with the Clarion Ledger. Hugh Kellenberger will do a lot of our interviews. We've got coaches and players coming up as well. We are ready to get this rolling. We'll take a quick break and get the announcement started. This is the High School Football Network National Signing Day event, live from the Clarion Ledger. Stay with us. Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977. Call Ambulatory Equipment Services for all your CPAP needs. We offer a full array of CPAP masks from industry-leading vendors such as Respironics and ResMed. Ambulatory Equipment Services has been offering quality service and products since 1983. Call today for your CPAP needs at 601-849-4125 or toll free at 800-844-4125. Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Morton, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available. Welcome back to the High School Football Network National Signing Day event here at the Clarion Ledger, and proud to start our first announcement of the day. We've got head coach Darius Brown of Callaway joining us. We're going to talk about Valdez Hobson, who's going to make a decision coming up in just a bit. And Coach, first of all, we really appreciate you guys being here. You got 5 guys today. Yeah. They're going to make an announcement on with us, and we're proud for that. Let's talk a little bit first about your team in general, and the fact that you got 5 guys today. They're going to make a D1 decision. And what that says about your program.
Well, first and foremost, congrats to my players and their parents. My assistant coaches do a great job with the kids. They really are responsible for a lot of this, as well as the teachers in the school. As you know, you can't just be a football player and receive a Division I scholarship. I think the most important thing that it says about our program that you might not know from just watching us on Fridays is that we do have class at Callaway, and you got to be a good student to get a D1 scholarship. And I'm just more so proud of the guys for the academic accomplishments to be full qualified and be able to go on and take advantage of this opportunity that's been presented. So it's kind of how I'm feeling right now.
Oh, that's great. Let's talk a little about the guy we're going to hear announced in a second, that's Valdez. What makes him such a special player? And you know, regardless of the school that he chooses, what is that school going to get both on the field and off the field?
Off the field, you're going to get a great kid, a great person. He's a great student. He's a great citizen. I mean, Valdez has no baggage. He's very close with his parents. They've done a good job with him. He actually goes to school like half a day now because he has most of his credits. Valdez actually worked a full-time job in the summer, and I had to call his boss to get them to work around his workouts because he wasn't going to miss a workout. So that's just a testament to, you know, his dedication to what he's trying to do. On the field, Jackson State will get his best football. Mm-hmm. He's only done this 22 times. Valdez was a basketball player.
Right.
And as you know, a lot of people are doing that now, but he made the transition as an 11th grader. And, I mean, this season he had over 40 pancakes. And in my opinion, he's still trying to figure it out. But he's a 6'6", massive guy with feet like a basketball player. And I think he'll take the SWAC by storm. Coach Hughes and his staff are getting a really, really good football player. And I'm just jealous that they're going to get the better, more good football from him than I have.
Right.
But he's a great kid, great football player, and it's going to be hard to replace him.
Well, Valdez, a longtime commit to Jackson State. We'll turn it over to you to make it official.
Today, I will be signing with the Jackson State University.
Valdez Hobson. So Jackson State picks up a big-time offensive lineman from in the home city at Callaway High School. Valdez Hobson going to go and play for JSU next year at that offensive line spot. And Christian, a really, really good player and somebody I think that the Tigers fans will be really proud of in the next couple of years.
We saw, as they call him, Big Ock play multiple positions on this offensive line. A guy that really has a high ceiling. You know, you look at his frame, he's 6'6", 265 pounds, and I think you're really just starting to see him scratch the surface. He's a guy that could redshirt or potentially take 2 or 3 years and really surprise a lot of people, and I think that's what Jackson State sees in him. You can't teach size, you can't teach athleticism, but you can teach technique, and he is primed to inherit all of those things by going to Jackson State.
And you look at his video that you see right now, and you're right about that in terms of his athleticism. He's a guy, too, that with his size, he can certainly get a nice push and can be a little bit of a road grader at that right tackle spot, but did a nice job when he flipped over to the left side of being able to pass protect. And we talk all the time about versatility among your offensive linemen in today's football, and he's really got it.
There's no doubt. And I think one of the things I noticed that I liked was he did an excellent job, and you saw this as it progressed in the highlight package you got later in the year, of him sealing blocks, really using and allowing his body to make the block in his technique. And so you started to see that upward projection. I just think the world of this kid, and I think Jackson State got a player that is perfect for what they want to do. Excellent job of recruiting by Tony Hughes and staff.
So Valdez Hobson makes it official, a Jackson State Tiger, and he's now with Clarion Ledger's Hugh Kellenberger. Hugh?
Well, Valdez, let's start with the first obvious question. Why Jackson State?
I mean, it was the first D1 school that ever believed in my talent.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me the opportunity to play the big stage.
Who at Jackson State was important to you? Which coaches were the ones that you really built a relationship with?
Coach Jones, the offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really great guy. Really fun to be around. I like his accent.
What kind of accent is it?
It's an Italian accent.
Italian, oh wow. All right. Well, I'm sure he's watching down the street. You tell him and tell everybody watching, what kind of player is he getting? What do you think you're going to be able to do at Jackson State?
Well, I'm a very athletic offensive lineman. I can move. He's going to get a very great one, very respectable one, and a real step on one in the state.
You know, there already been this talk that kids from Jackson don't want to go to Jackson State. Obviously, that didn't matter to you. What do you like about staying in your hometown and being able to play in front of the same fans that watch you on Friday nights in front of your family?
It's a big opportunity for me. I could bring Jackson State back to the way it used to be, and bring the championship back to the city.
Bring a championship back. I'm sure all the Jackson State fans watching are glad to hear that. Well, man, congratulations again, and hopefully we'll continue to see more from you. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Jeremy.
Hugh, thank you. So Jackson State is a big-time commit in Valdez Hobson, and we're still here with Coach Darius Brown. We're going to talk about another player of his, a guy I know you really like both on and off the field, Markel Gladney. Let's talk about him for a second. What makes him so special to you?
Markel Gladney is my guy, okay? Football aside, I'm going to miss him walking in the building every day. Since the season's over, he has taken over the day-to-day operations of my office, literally. But as far as a football player, Markel was the personality of our whole team. Markel is a guy that you look at his physical stature, and until you pop the tape on, you don't see what you're looking at until you pop the tape on. I think he'll go to Jackson State day one, and whoever's in front of him, they need to feel for their spot from the day he gets there. He'll be prepared every day. He works out. He's a football junkie. He watches endless film. He's one of the toughest, if not the toughest football player I've ever coached. And I've had some guys. Yeah. But Markel Gladney gets it done. And whenever you need a play, you look around in some kind of way he makes a play. He's a team guy. He's a born leader. He's got great parents. He's an accountable guy, and he holds everybody else accountable. And he'll be one of those guys that goes to Jackson State, and if you want to say start to change the culture, they're getting a winner. And if you're going to be on the field with him, you're going to have to work just like he works. And he's going to hold everybody around him to that standard. And he was just a linchpin in our defense. And like I said again, one of the toughest guys I ever coached, and really, honestly, one of my favorite players I've ever coached. It's just my guy. I mean, and I'm so proud for him because when we started this, nobody knew who he was, and nobody thought that this would come to pass. But if I'm proud of anybody, it's Markel Gladney, and he's going to be irreplaceable. So we're just going to have to try to find another way to do it without number 2.
Yeah, well, Markel, a guy that's been committed to Jackson State. Let's see if he makes it official. Over to you.
My next 3 to 4 years will be spent at Jackson State University.
Markel Gladney. So Markel Gladney, the cornerback from Callaway, going to go to Jackson State. A really good get for the Tigers, a cornerback. It's Coach Tony Hughes' trait, and they're really going to get a good one.
You nailed it. Coach Tony Hughes understands what you need to be successful in the secondary. He finds a kid in his backyard who I believe is a day one starter. We've heard that from other people as well. Breaks on the ball well, does an excellent job of tackling. He just looks like a player that is would be the gem of the Jackson State class.
Yeah, and he's a guy, too, from a corner standpoint that is going to be out there on that island. So you don't have to use a lot of safety help. You don't have to give him help out there. He can be that guy that can shut down receivers and allow you to do other things with your defense. He's got pretty decent size as well, which will certainly help him as he goes up against bigger receivers. So he really fits the total package for what Tony Hughes is trying to do specifically in that secondary.
Jeremy, you and I have talked many times about what you want in a cornerback prospect, and he's got it all. I love the way he plays from watching his highlight film and seeing him in person. I love the swagger that he has. He is not afraid to be on that island, as you mentioned. And when I think about the type of player, he's the guy you could look up 3-4 years that finds his way into playing semi-professionally or even professionally because you love all of his attributes, and it could end up being the total package.
So Gladney going to be a Tiger in Jackson next year. So Markel Gladney makes it 2 for 2, Callaway to Jackson State, and the newest Tiger is with Hugh Killenberger. Hugh?
Well, Markel, who was with you today? I know they were excited. Who did you have here to support you?
My mother, my father, my Pee Wee coach, Coach Lewis, and my aunts.
How excited are they to have you sign with Jackson State and have you play close to home?
Very excited. I'm able to see y'all my game.
Why was it Jackson State for you?
I mean, I knew I was going when the recruiting process started. I mean, it's the only D1 offer I had. I feel like they felt like that I was the player they wanted, and I felt like I was at home. So I committed.
What do you think Coach Hughes is building over there?
I think he's building a great program. I seen a lot of commits that we have got. I mean, he's a God-fearing man. I mean, I love my DB coach, Coach Collins.
Yeah. How exciting is it to be a part of something that's building?
I mean, it's a good experience because I mean I'm the first to help start the program, help build around it, get it going.
They giving you an indication of where you fit in at corner, safety?
I mean, I play wherever they put me.
Yeah. So if they tell you to line up on the offensive line, you're in?
I get them.
You and Valdez right next to each other?
Right next to each other.
That sounds good. I think that'd be awesome. Anything you want to say to the Jackson State fans that are watching?
I love, let's go.
All right. Sounds good. Back to you, Jeremy.
All right, Hugh, thank you so much. So Jackson State, as I said, makes it 2 for 2 with the Callaway kids. We've got a whole lot more coming up. We're going to run down some of the kids in Mississippi that are not here today with us and where they have signed. We'll also talk about some guys who are upcoming, and then we'll have the rest of our guys as well. The High School Football Network National Signing Day event rolls along. We're back after this.
Call Ambulatory Equipment Services for all your CPAP needs. We offer a full array of CPAP masks from industry-leading vendors such as Respironics and ResMed. Ambulatory Equipment Services has been offering quality service and products since 1983. Call today for your CPAP needs at 601-849-4125 or toll free at 800-844-4125. Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Morton, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available.
There's music in the air. Family and friends are everywhere. Blue plays special shrimp and grits to spare. We'll all sing along while we eat our share. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Yes, I do.
Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977.
Welcome back to the High School Football Network Signing Day Show. I'm Christian Bird. We're live from the Clarion Ledger here in Jackson, Mississippi. And so far, we've had an exciting day. We've already seen several players from Callaway choose Jackson State. And, you know, there are a lot of things happening around the country. We're going to shift gears a little bit. Talk now about an exciting player, a versatile player out of Cathedral. And I've got his head coach here, Coach Starbone. How you doing?
Doing great, doing great.
We're going to talk about Will Wallace before he makes this decision. And, you know, obviously is committed to and will sign with Tulane. But I want to talk a little bit about the type of player he is, his versatility, what you saw from him, and how he's grown over the years.
Well, Will made a great impression on me while I was interviewed at Cathedral. I went to the football field, and him and the quarterback, Connor Meir, were out there at about 5 o'clock on their own working. And that's the first impression of a high-quality kid that I get to coach once I accepted the job. So, I mean, first impression was great. The ability he had to change from an offensive lineman to a tight end / wide receiver for us was an incredible move in a 3-month span that I was able to coach him. To have that athletic ability, that's just a joy to coach.
Where do you think he is most likely to project at the next level?
I think he projects as a tight end, depending on the offense that they want to run and the players that they have around him at Tulane. He's just, just a great kid, and he does a good job, but he can play defense just as well.
Excellent. We're going to go now live to Will Wallace as he makes his decision.
Will Wallace, going to Tulane.
Will Wallace. Cathedral High School, Will Wallace, tight end, defensive end, going to go and stick with Tulane, play for the Green Wave in New Orleans. A really good player, really good size, and Christian, a guy that certainly the Green Wave can use in multiple positions.
It's hard to call Wallace anything outside of an athlete. He is. There just aren't many players that are 6'4", north of 230 pounds, that are versatile enough to play on both sides of the ball. Wallace is, and let's begin with talking about him on the defensive side of the ball, Jeremy. A guy who did a great job of using his hands, disrupting the backfield. He made tackles. He even stood up and played linebacker some.
And certainly when you look at his highlights this past year, he's able to move, as you said, in space very well. But if you look at it from a tight end standpoint, a guy that with that size you can line up, and he can line up in that flex position as well. It's not just about putting your hand down on the line of scrimmage. He can be a real matchup problem for a lot of defensive backs and linebackers if he gets down the field with his big frame and athleticism.
Loved watching what I saw from the tight end position. He ran good routes, but more impressive was that when he got one-on-one balls, he caught them. And he did a great job of converting red zone plays in his highlight package and turning those into scores. And when you think about what he could do at the next level, my gut tells me tight end, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him succeed on either side of the football.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, with an athlete like him, you can certainly play a lot of different positions. He's got good size as well, as we keep harping on. So Will Wallace, we're going to play for the Tulane Green Wave from Natchez to New Orleans next season.
So Will Wallace chooses Tulane. We heard a lot from his coach, Coach Darbone. Now we kick it over to Hugh Kellenberger of the Clarion Ledger to hear more from Will.
You know, Will, I was a high school offensive lineman, but if they asked me to run around, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
What was it like the first time your coaches said, "Hey man, can you go run a vertical route"?
They told me to run straight, and I ran straight, just like when I was a little kid playing backyard football in Alabama.
What was the hardest part about switching positions?
There's a lot more to do than just running routes. Like when someone walks up and jam you, to get off of them, and just little things.
What do you think it changed about your recruiting process?
Excuse me?
What do you think it changed about your recruiting process?
I think it showed I could do a lot more than just block. I think.
Tulane indicated, do they want you at tight end? Do they want you at defensive end?
They actually offered me as both.
Okay.
So it's kind of a look at the depth chart and choose which would be better, and I think tight end's where I'm going to go.
Do you have a preference?
I really don't. Just wherever I can play and make an impact.
So why was it Tulane for you?
To me, it was the coaches, it was the education, it was the conference. It wasn't too far from home. It's a great school, and I just loved it.
You mentioned education. You know what you're going to major in?
I don't yet, but I know whatever you do major in, if you get a degree from Tulane, it's pretty significant.
Parents and family excited?
Very, yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Will Wallace, congratulations once again on committing to Tulane. Back over to you, Christian.
You know, one of the things that happens consistently on National Signing Day are things pop up late. You don't know what's going to happen. A lot of kids find out that they get offers late, and so they want to find a way to explore that, maybe see if a dream offer comes along. There's not a better example of that than what's happening right now with Callaway defensive back Harold Blackman. Harold, a dynamic player, a player I love to watch on film because he loves to hit people. He's that old school safety, but he's got the speed to guard a slot back. He comes up in the box like a linebacker. And so a lot of schools have taken notice of that. Because of that, he was set to sign today. We're going to delay that announcement because he still wants to take a couple of visits. We're going to go now, again live, to Hugh Kellenberger of the Clarion Ledger. He's going to talk more to Harold about where he stands in his recruitment.
Well, Harold, you know, I think it's great for the kids that know what they're going to do on National Signing Day. But I don't think a lot of people know that you don't have to sign on National Signing Day. You have time. So I guess for you, I applaud you, number one, for making sure that you're making the right decision. And kind of walk us through how are you feeling right now, and who do you want to go see some more from?
I'm feeling kind of confident right now. Take a couple visits and see where will feel more home for me.
Who do you want to go visit?
Cincinnati and probably Louisiana Tech.
And who else are you still considering? Anybody else?
A couple opportunities came in late, and getting a couple things lined up.
What are you looking for? What do you think it'll take for you to know this is the place, this is where I want to sign?
Somebody that bring me in and feel like it's a brotherhood at home and like that I'm home, away from home.
Said you're confident. Obviously, you're a talented guy. There's a reason why everyone's coming after you. How does it feel, though, to kind of have all of it coming at you so quick?
It's kind of stressing, but I take it day by day. Just keep the man God first.
I guess the last thing, the school you end up signing with, what are they going to get?
They're going to get a dynamic player that loves to hit and can be an athlete and play all-around fit.
All right, I'm going to cheat one more question. Does it feel like to be one of 5 Callaway kids here today, all of you guys going to D1 schools? How does it feel to be a part of such a talented group that obvious achievers?
It feels pretty good to be around guys that like trying to head to the same place you're going. Like it motivates us all. We've been doing this for all of us been doing 3 to 4 years together. So it feels pretty good.
Well, Harold, I know you're going to make a great decision. Good luck as you continue to go through your process.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Back to you, Christian.
Thanks, Harold. Thanks, Hugh. When we come back, we've got a lot more in store here on the High School Football Network National Signing Day event live from the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi. We'll hear from Hugh Kellenberger. We'll talk more about a lot of upcoming prep events, what the year looks like when it comes to high school football players and their recruitment and how the paper covers it. We'll be back shortly to hear more from Hugh Kellenberger and the rest of our signees.
Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Morton, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available. Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977.
There's music in the air. Family and friends are everywhere. Blue Blaze special shrimp and grits to spare. We'll all sing along while we eat our share. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Yes, I do.
Call Ambulatory Equipment Services for all your CPAP needs. We offer a full array of CPAP masks from industry-leading vendors such as Respironics and ResMed. Ambulatory Equipment Services has been offering quality service and products since 1983. Call today for your CPAP needs at 601-849-4125 or toll free at 800-844-4125.
Welcome back to the High School Football Network Signing Day show live from the Clarion Ledger here in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm joined with Hugh Kellenberger of the Clarion Ledger. And Hugh, so far so good. We've been able to see a lot of local players make decisions. Certainly always exciting to see kids that we've covered have success, continue their education, continue their sports career. One of the things I've always found fascinating, no matter what outlet you are or how you cover this, there's a process involved. And I know for the Clarion Ledger, there is a specific order, for the most part, of how you begin to come into knowing these kids, how you get to know them, and how you watch them progress, and how you cover them, and how you even rate them in many cases, from from the Dandy Dozen standpoint. So
Right.
if you will start just at the beginning of the year, per se, for you guys, and work through that and allow us to see how you operate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the year really starts for us from a high school sports perspective in July with the unveiling of the Dandy Dozen, the list of the 12 best high school football players in the state of Mississippi, which we say all the time is not the 12 highest ranked kids, it's the 12 best high school football players, which sometimes leads to some controversy, but we're very proud of the fact that it's about what they do on the field. And it's an exhaustive process. It's dozens of high school coaches, college coaches are consulted, different recruiters. Ultimately, we're the ones making the decisions, but we're not so foolish enough to think that we're Hugh Freeze or Dan Mullen and we can evaluate properly these guys. And so we really consult as many people we know that are experts in their field, and then we finally make that decision. And I think it's a great honor. I think what speaks for the Dandy Dozen and its impact in this state is the fact that for those 12 days that we're unveiling it, every high school kid in the state is waiting until noon every single day to see us announce it. And even if you wait a couple of days to announce an obvious kid like a Cam Akers, you'll get a text message from him going, am I going to make it? Like, they worry about this thing. I think a lot of times Mississippi kids worry about the Dandy Dozen more than they do are they a 4-star or a 5-star. It's a special list to be a part of. And really that blends into the start of the high school football season. All the coverage we do statewide every Friday night. Well, we're at the biggest game in the state, whether that's here in Jackson, in Meridian, South Panola, Oxford, Columbus, wherever it is, we're going to be there because I think it's important. And I think that's people the Clarion Ledger readers expect from us. And then, it just continues. And we started the Mississippi Clarion Ledger Mississippi Sports Awards a couple of years ago. That's going strong, and that gives us a really big platform, not just for football, but for every sport across the state of Mississippi, including archery and bowling. I think that's what people don't realize. We pick every all-state team.
I was there last year. It was a tremendous event.
Yeah.
Briefly tell us about how that's evolved, and if you're ready to, who you can expect to see or who the guest speaker will be.
Yeah, absolutely. We announced it a couple of weeks ago. And the event is just growing and growing and growing. We sold out last year. We made sure we got every athlete in there that we possibly could because it's important to us. It's for the athletes. We want them to be honored and have that night. And it's a great night that continues to get bigger and better. 2 years ago, we brought in Drew Brees. That was an obvious choice, in New Orleans Saint for the first year. Last year was Tim Tebow. People were so excited to see Tim Tebow. I think, and people said, I don't know how you're going to beat this. I think we beat it because Dak Prescott's going to come to Mississippi. Dak is back is the official hashtag. He hasn't really done a whole lot of these. We may actually probably be his first speaking engagement like this. But as we went through the process, and it's a long list of athletes that you start with and things that you're looking for, but as Dak did what he was doing with the Cowboys, it became obvious to us he was the guy. And I think this year we're going to see, an incredible amount of people want to come out and see him. Not just the high school athletes, but, Mississippi State fans, I'm sure, are going to want to come see Dak.
Well, certainly, we're incredibly thankful for the partnership we've had at the High School Football Network with the Clarion Ledger. And it's the type of thing, I think, that makes sense in terms of the sharing of information, whether it's photos, whether it's videos. And certainly, we're thankful for the coverage and what you do for high school sports across the state. Moving forward, can you just tell people that might not know how they can keep up with you and how they can keep up with what the Clarion Ledger is doing in terms of their high school athletics?
Yeah, absolutely. ClarionLedger.com. We're all on Twitter, every single sports reporter. We're in the process of hiring a new high school editor. They're going to be here very, very soon, I hope, and we're going to continue everything that we do leading up to Mississippi Sports Awards on May 25th.
When we come back, we will have yet another announcement here at the High School Football Network Signing Day Show. He's Hugh Kellenberger of the Clarion Ledger. We're live in Jackson, Mississippi at the Clarion Ledger. We'll be back shortly on the High School Football Network National Signing Day event.
Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Morton, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available. Call Ambulatory Equipment Services for all your CPAP needs. We offer a full array of CPAP masks from industry-leading vendors such as Respironics and ResMed. Ambulatory Equipment Services has been offering quality service and products since 1983. Call today for your CPAP needs at 601-849-4125 or toll free at 800-844-4125. Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977.
There's music in the air. Family and friends are everywhere. Blue plays special shrimp and grits to spare. We'll all sing along while we eat our share. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Yes, I do.
It's the High School Football Network National Signing Day event here at the Clarion Ledger. Jeremy Kennedy, Christian Burr with you. As the signees continue to roll along, we'll have Ben Brown in just a second. We want to run down quickly some of the guys in Mississippi that we've seen play this year that have already announced, and we've got a list right here. We'll talk about some of these guys, and a lot of these guys, certainly, we really wish them the best. We had a chance to see them play this year, but Kylan Hill, Columbus, one of our schools, not a surprise, sticks and signs with Mississippi State. Willie Gay from Starkville does likewise, signs with Mississippi State. Two really good gets for the Bulldogs there.
Yeah, they really are, and two high-profile players, highly ranked players that will certainly help that Mississippi State team. I saw the other day where Kylan Hill is the top running back signed by Mississippi State in terms of ranking in the last 10 years. That says a lot, and it's actually been 10 to 15, so a lot of really good positive things for the Bulldogs there. And then Willie Gay, who is just unbelievable on the field. And so two really big gets. You flip that over, Ole Miss gets Cam White, safety out of Clinton, which is successful, and a player that we talked a lot about, maybe that kind of flew under the radar. Sadarian Archie out of Brandon signs with UOL, a really good player, really versatile athlete there. So a lot of good things happening across the state.
Yeah, Central Latham School, one of our schools, Meridian signs with Southern Miss as well. Miles Brennan makes it official with LSU. So we've got a lot of guys. We'll continue to go over some more of them as well. But time now to get to our next big announcement. Ben Brown, a guy from St. Aloysius, an offensive lineman, an Ole Miss family. I don't think anybody was surprised that he committed to Ole Miss, and a guy that I know you and I like a lot.
Absolutely. Really versatile. Is going to be able to learn under Coach Luke. Got to be really excited for him to continue something that's in terms of being an Ole Miss Rebel, and so it'll be interesting to see how he develops.
Yeah, Josh McNulty, our president, 6'5", he has to look up to Ben. Not many people make Josh look up. Ben, we're going to send it over to you and tell us where you're going to sign on signing day.
My name is Ben Brown. I'm an offensive tackle from St. Aloysius High School in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and I'm very blessed and excited to say I'm going to Ole Miss.
Before I go, I'd like to say thank you so much to my school and my entire support system, my family, my grandparents, my dad, brother, sister, all my friends, and the Lord as well. I'm blessed to be in this position.
Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Morton, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available.
So Ben, not a surprise, Ben Brown going to sign with Ole Miss, makes it official, and a guy that, as we talked about, has got really good size, and from an offensive line standpoint at Ole Miss, they've got a little bit more depth now. So who knows? Maybe probably a guy that can redshirt this year, but really develop over the next couple of years.
No doubt. I mean, he's a player that made a lot of headway in the camp circuit, did a lot of really good things. So it's no surprise he had the success that he did. And now you see him, committed to a big school, committed to an SEC school, a player we certainly think will continue to progress. And just like you said, Ole Miss has some depth there. So no surprise that he does commit to Ole Miss, and we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, and certainly, too, when you mentioned the size and a little athleticism, we talk all the time about these offensive linemen and the versatility that they have and they need in today's college football. And he's got it, and I think that he can play a number of positions. People, I think, project him at guard, but I think he can move around in that offensive line and be versatile and maybe play 2 or 3 positions.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think that's kind of the new thing to do. Very much like we saw defensive backs have to be able to play safety, almost some hybrid linebacker, even corner in many cases. I think you're seeing the same thing with these linemen. Swing linemen are so valuable. And when you look at Ben, you mentioned it, he's so tall. He's got the frame to really build on, to have a body type that you can't just, you either have it or you don't. Right. So he's a good-looking kid, good-looking athlete, and I certainly think that the sky's the limit for him.
Well, Ben right now is over with Hugh Kellenberger of the Clarion Ledger. Hugh?
Well, Ben, is there anybody in your family who didn't go to Ole Miss?
Most of my family has always gone to Ole Miss. I mean, like y'all said, both of my grandparents played together at Ole Miss, Alan Brown and Bobby Robinson, and just my father played as well, Tim Brown, my uncle Burks Brown, and just it's great having all that family.
So what was it like that moment when, I don't know if it was Coach Freeze or it was Coach Luke, but they said, Ben, we'd like to extend you a scholarship offer?
Oh, it was phenomenal. I was in tears whenever they offered me, because this is a dream come true. I've grown up a Rebel fan. Being able to stay in Mississippi and play for all the great Christian men, Coach Luke, Coach Freeze, Coach Longo, all of them, it's a dream come true. It's a major blessing.
Yeah, let's talk about Coach Longo for a second, because obviously they had the offensive coordinator change. Coach Luke, your positional coach, is still there. How do you think that new offense is going to do? How excited are you to be a part of it?
Oh, well, I just met Coach Longo a few weeks ago when he came for an in-home visit with Coach Luke, and he's a great man. He's a very smart coach. I feel like he'll be very successful at Ole Miss.
Being a commit for so long and being a legacy that really knows Ole Miss, how much did you feel like you had to be a steward for the program with other recruits and really try to get as many guys as you can to join you?
I was just always honest with everyone. Just Ole Miss is a great school. I mean, you have great coaches who really care about you both on and off the field. They care more than how you do in a game. They actually care how you develop as a person, both physically, spiritually, and mentally. So.
I know they're young on the offensive line there. Do you feel like you can step in and play early, or are you ready to maybe redshirt and get bigger and stronger in their program?
I want to do whatever's best for the team. Whatever Coach Luke tells me to do, I'm 100% ready to do it.
That's the absolute right strategy to have.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations,
Thank you
Ben.
so much. Yes, sir.
All right, and back to you, Jeremy.
Hugh, thank you so much. We're going to continue to roll along with our announcements. We got Coach Brown back here again, another Callaway guy, and this time it's Emmanuel Dabney, the cornerback that has had a really, really nice recruitment. Committed one time to Mississippi State, committed to Southern Miss one time as well, currently still there. Let's talk about Emmanuel as a player from a corner standpoint. In today's football, obviously everybody wants that cornerback on an island. Having coached him, can he be that guy at the next level?
Excuse me. That's exactly what he is. The infatuation with Emmanuel Dabney is that he's a legit 4.3 40 guy. He can wake up in the morning and run a 4.3. He allowed us to be able to play man on one side of the field and zone backside. He would always cover the other team's best receiver. He's kind of the last of a dying breed, a guy that you can legitimately trust out there on the other team's best receiver. Again, like Markel, they teamed up to make one of the best defensive backfields with Harold Blackman roaming around as the enforcer. Those guys just made that it was a perfect match. And the reality is setting in right now that I'm losing some really, really good football players. Right. I'm proud for them. But as soon as the day, though, I got to get back to the drawing board. But Emmanuel is a very, very skilled cornerback. He'll go to Southern Miss, and from day one, he'll compete to get some playing time. And the other thing about Emmanuel is he's a special teams guy as well. He was on all the special teams, gunner on the punt team, safety on the kickoff team. He was our designated block on field goal block, PAT. So he's a very multi-talented guy with a special skill set, and that's why a lot of teams across America were trying to get their hands on him as close as Mississippi, as far as Arizona. So I'm glad for him, and they're getting a great player down in Hattiesburg.
Well, Emmanuel Dabney, a commit to Southern Miss. We'll see if he makes it official. Emmanuel?
I just want to thank God, my family, and just for supporting me throughout this recruiting process. And just for the next 3 to 4 years, I will be attending University of Southern Miss.
Emmanuel Dabney. So the Golden Eagles pick up a big-time commitment from Emmanuel Dabney, cornerback at Callaway, another one of those talented defensive players that Callaway had this year. And, Christian, obviously he is a guy that is certainly got good size from a height standpoint, and anytime you can get a 6-foot defensive back, you're certainly proud to take him.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned that size. We live in a world now where tall, athletic defensive backs can serve several purposes, and they have to be able to tackle. Dabney does that, but he also is a fluid athlete that can run alongside some of these wide receivers, maybe even tight ends with his height. So he's a guy that can really help a defense sooner rather than later, and he seems to be the new breed of defensive back right now in college football.
And that's certainly something that obviously Southern Miss will need to playing. They're going to have a lot of spread offenses that you're playing against. He can go and fit right in. Jay Hobson, a guy that's a defensive backs guru, a guy that's been a defensive coordinator at the big-time level, and he certainly has a nice understanding of defensive backs. So you feel like with Emmanuel Dabney, the only thing you worry about maybe a little bit that weight, but I think we both agree that he can certainly put that on and step in and be a big-time player at Southern Miss.
Absolutely. And Dabney, a player formerly committed to Mississippi State, had strong interest from both Missouri and Ole Miss. This is a huge get for USM, a player that is, got some national recognition, some SEC recognition, and moving forward, this could be a really big get for Southern Miss.
So Emmanuel Dabney makes it official. Will play in Hattiesburg next season for Coach Jay Hobson.
So a good look there at Emmanuel Dabney, the newest Golden Eagle and the third Callaway player to sign at the High School Network Signing Day event. And he's with Hugh Kellenberger of the Clarion Ledger. Hugh?
Well, Emmanuel, first of all, congratulations. Secondly, why Southern Miss for you?
Really, all the schools just started recruiting me except for Southern Miss, so they show love to me, so I'm going to show love to them. And after I took my visit, I just wanted to go there.
What was it about your visit? What did you like about Hattiesburg?
Co-option. My host, they showed me a good time, showed me it doesn't matter what school you go to, it just matter what you do when you get there. So,
right, absolutely. Southern Miss has a long tradition of sending guys to the NFL with your talents. Coach Brown, he raved about you. What do you feel like? What do you feel like you're really good at, and what do you feel like, man, I can get better at this and I can really turn into something?
Just me doing what I do on the defense side of the ball. I think I can go a long way just doing it. Hopefully make it to the NFL. That's the dream. So.
Right, absolutely. Coach Hobson, what do you think of what he is building? You're kind of getting in on the ground floor a little bit.
I believe in Coach Hobson. Coach Hobson, he's a good man. I just believe in what he got going on, so I'm gonna roll with it.
What did it feel like to be part of 5 Callaway players that are all signing Division I scholarships today? That doesn't happen everywhere.
I was doing something right, so Coach making it happen for you. Got to thank Coach Brown for everything we do.
What do you think Coach Brown's doing right?
Talking to the right people. He got the right connect. You wanna go. You really want to make it out of JPS. Go come to Callaway. So.
Sounds good. We got a recruiter here.
Yeah.
Back to you, Jeremy.
Yeah, you do, and I think Coach Jay Hobson will certainly be proud about that as well. So Emmanuel Dabney, the newest Golden Eagle from Callaway. Got some more guys I want to run down for you real quick. We didn't mention Chase Rogers makes it official with Louisiana Lafayette. Brandon Smith, the wide receiver from Lake Cormorant, sticks to his commitment and signs with Iowa. Tyler Williams out of Lafayette County in Oxford to MSU. Austin Williams out of Ocean Springs to Mississippi State as well. So the High School Football Network signing day rolls along. Up next, we've got Sadiq Charles, talented offensive lineman from Madison Ridgeland Academy, a long commit to the LSU Tigers. Will he stick? Then later, it's Aaron Odom and Dede Bowie, the 2 guys that are going to make a lot of headway in the Magnolia State today. Stay with us as we roll along. This is the High School Football Network National Signing Day event.
Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Morton, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available.
There's music in the air. Family and friends are everywhere. Blue plays special shrimp and grits to spare. We'll all sing along while we eat our share. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Yes, I do.
Call Ambulatory Equipment Services for all your CPAP needs. We offer a full array of CPAP masks from industry-leading vendors such as Respironics and ResMed. Ambulatory Equipment Services has been offering quality service and products since 1983. Call today for your CPAP needs at 601-849-4125 or toll free at 800-844-4125. Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977.
Welcome back to the High School Football Network signing day event here in Jackson, Mississippi at the Clarion Ledger. I'm joined now with Madison Ridgeland Academy offensive and defensive line coach Kenny Williams. How you doing, Coach?
Doing good, doing good.
Good
Glad
to have
be
you on
here.
the show, man.
Thank you.
Listen, I want to talk a little bit about Sadiq Charles because he's one of my favorite people I've ever interviewed in any sport.
Well, he's mine too.
He's an incredible guy. Let's start with Sadiq as a person. Tell me a little bit about the first time you met him and what he's meant from a personal standpoint to that football team.
Well, first time I met him, we were at practice, and he came over, and he wanted to be a part of our program. And first time I met him, you know, when we were handing out equipment, we were giving him stuff, you could tell what type of person he was, the background he has. He has a strong background, good young man. He had great values. Mm-hmm. And when we got him out there in the practice field, I started watching him move around. I said, this young man needs to be on the other side of the offense, the other side of the board. He come in, you want to play D-line, and I said, you need to play O-line. And I've been telling the coaches that I told him, and push came to shove, you know, at the end of the year, we had to move him to O-line because of some injuries. And we realized in his junior year how much better, he realized how much better he would be playing O-line. And from there, from that point of the season to the state championship, he played 15 games as O-line of his whole career. That's impressive in being a four-star athlete.
Sure. Well, I know one of the legends he has around him is that he was a soccer goalie.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that tells you a lot about his footwork and his athletic ability. I mean, so did you know that he was a soccer player beforehand?
Yes, I did. And how many offensive linemen have you seen that big get out there and move that well with their feet? I mean, we were playing, Coach Grimes, the O-line coach from LSU, come up to watch him play because he's always had dual athlete linemen that's played basketball, that's played baseball, that's ran track or done something and that sort of wrestled. He said he's never had an offensive lineman, a recruit, to play soccer. So he sat there and he wanted to watch, and he started dribbling around people. Then we were playing Vicksburg. He was dribbling around people, and everybody was going crazy. And I said, boy's got that good of feet. It's that impressive.
Well, we talked a lot about him on the offensive line. Now, in today's world, it's so important to be what they call a swing offensive lineman. Somebody can play any of those positions. And so I'm curious, what have you heard from other coaches? What have you seen with your own eyes? Is he limited to any one position? Or do you think in terms of his versatility, he could play any of those positions?
Athletically, he can play all of them. Play all three spots, center, guard, tackle, athletically. He is probably, like I said, athletically, he's the best I've ever coached, hands down. I've coached some good O-linemen in my career as a young coach, and he's hands down one of the most powerful and with the most athletic ability all combined.
Let's talk about in terms of his ceiling. Do you feel like he's just scratching the surface? You mentioned 15 games.
15, like I said, 15, 16 games. I mean, he's just now at the end of the season started to understand how to play, and he's still raw. People don't understand that, and I think the LSU coaches, Mississippi State, everybody started to see that. And when you see how much athletic ability he has playing that position, and coach him up a little more on the fundamentals, when he gets to the SEC football, because you know how tough it is to line up against Alabama, line up against LSU in practice, line up against Ole Miss's D-line, Mississippi State, Georgia, week in, week out. That's not going to be easy. And the fundamentals are going to come, and he's going to be a lot better from it.
One more question before we get to Sadiq. He's got that big personality.
Oh,
how much did that rub onto your team in terms of his leadership?
He's a social butterfly. He likes to joke. He likes to have a good time. The biggest thing is he likes to smile. He's always energetic with people. He's always trying to have fun. Me and my wife have been blessed to be a part of his life, and he's like family to us. He's like my son. That's me and my wife says. And I'm going to miss him when he leaves, not because playing, just miss him around our house.
Sure. Important words there from Coach Williams, but now we send it to the man of the hour, to Sadiq Charles from Madison Ridgeland Academy, as he makes his decision here on the High School Football Network National Signing Day event.
Hi, y'all. Sadiq Charles from Madison Ridgeland Academy. First off, I want to thank God. I want to thank my friends and family who are here with me today. I want to thank my coaches who have had helped me with endless hours of training and practice me to perform at the level I did this year for me to be where I'm at. And without further ado, for the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be spending my college career in God's country, Death Valley.
Sadiq Charles. Sadiq Charles, a longtime commitment to the LSU Tigers, makes it official. Will play on that offensive line, and a guy that has really had a terrific career at MRA, and somebody that has really made the LSU offensive line much better with his signature today.
Look, Charles is a road grader, and that fits perfectly for what the Tigers like to do. That's run the football with big physical backs. They wear you down, and I'm not sure there's a better fit in the country in terms of how Charles's talents translates to the need of the Tigers here. And I think one of the keys here, you hear about a guy that's a road grader, you may think he's big, but he's not athletic. That's not the case. As Charles played goalie in soccer, he is so versatile and so athletic. I just can't say enough about this kid as a person and as a player.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, too. You're not sure maybe where he projects to the next level. He could get a little bit bigger and be a guard. He could also swing out and play tackle as well. So pretty versatile. And certainly from Coach Davis's standpoint, he's had a lot of great offensive linemen and has really suggested to us in the past that he thinks Sadiq is the best offensive lineman he's had, and certainly somebody that could really, if he continues to progress, be a no-doubt NFL guy.
That's strong words, and not surprising to me. When you spend time around Sadiq Charles, you know he's destined for success. And so good to see him make a choice where he fits perfectly. He goes to LSU, and he's going to be a big part of the Tiger offense moving forward.
So Sadiq Charles, sticking with the Tigers, going to play for Coach Orgeron and company in Baton Rouge next season.
So Sadiq Charles of MRA will play the next 4 years in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for the LSU Tigers. He is the number 6 player in the state, according to 247.com, and is ranked as a 4-star prospect. Certainly a player, as you heard from Coach Williams, that is incredible on and off the field, incredibly athletic. He's also a Dandy Dozen player. And now, speaking of Dandy Dozen, we're going to go to Hugh Kellenberger of the Clarion Ledger to hear directly from Sadiq.
Sadiq, I think it's pretty obvious who you're signing with. Got the purple dress shirt, the
sir.
purple and gold tie. Even if you got the bracelets and the pen. Is there anything that you couldn't find that was purple and gold?
I kind of wanted to go with the plaid purple and gold suit and just kind of go full regalia, but I couldn't find everything I wanted.
You probably got to go down to Baton Rouge to find that suit.
Yeah.
Why was it LSU for you?
I mean, it was a dream coming up as a kid. I wanted to go back home. I'm from Louisiana. I wanted to go back home and play in front of all my friends and family who really haven't got to see me ever really just play football. And it was the right fit. I trust Coach O with me playing with him. I feel like we're going to do great things at the program.
I know you were just a young boy when your family left New Orleans. I guess, what has your journey been like for you, your childhood, growing up in a couple of different places and kind of finding another home here in Jackson?
I found another home, but my home, I'd say, is always, my heart's always been LSU and the state of Louisiana. I mean, as a young boy, watching my first LSU game after the hurricane, I was just like, man, I want to go back home and play for the Tigers. After they won the national championship, man, I want to go back and play for Coach Miles. That didn't work out, but I still love Coach O as much as, I would have loved playing for Coach Miles.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Obviously LSU went through the coaching change, changing from Les Miles to Ed Orgeron. At any moment, did you waver, or was it always, it's more about LSU than any specific coach?
It was more about LSU than any specific coach, but, the only thing I was worrying, if Coach O isn't there, if Coach O was there, no matter what would have happened, I would have, always been a Tiger. I think I still would have been a Tiger into the day, no matter what the coaching change would have been, but, I was just worried about Coach O and offensive line Coach Grimes not being there because, we built a pretty good relationship. I feel like we're pretty close.
How do you feel like you fit in, tackle, guard, or wherever they want to put you?
I'm thinking more of a guard, maybe a tackle. I just want to get in and, get in the weight program and learn the playbook as fast as I can.
Yeah, you're not the first guy to make this transition from the MAIS to the SEC, but you're the latest. What do you think that's going to be like?
From what I talked to all my friends that went from MAIS to SEC, of course you have to prove yourself. But it's going to be a little different, going to LSU. Nobody really at LSU knows what the MAIS is about. If you go in state here, everybody's like, oh, he's coming from the private school league, but nobody really knows at LSU. I'll still have to prove myself, but, I just think it'll be a little different than.
Good news is, I'll tell you, every freshman has to prove themselves.
Yeah.
You're not going to be the only one having to do that. I don't know if people know that the college coaches are really specific about when they want these letters of intent in because they want to know if they got you on the team officially.
Yeah.
You told me a little bit before we started filming, you had a little hiccup this morning, didn't you?
Yeah, I woke up pretty late, like 8 o'clock or so. I had a few calls and text messages wondering when I was going to get my NLI, and I think they might have been a little worried I was trying to do something a little crazy, but no, I'm a Tiger.
Absolutely. Coach O, he got you on the team. I know you're going to go down to Baton Rouge and do great things.
Yes,
Congratulations, Sadiq.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Back to you, Christian.
Now, Sadiq Charles of Madison Ridgeland Academy talking with you, Kellenberger, of the Clarion Ledger. When we come back, we'll interview the president of the High School Football Network, Josh McNulty, and also some of you will finally get to see where Dandy Dozen prospect Aaron Odom out of Callaway High School chooses between Louisville and Mississippi State. This is the High School Football Network signing day event live from Jackson, Mississippi at the Clarion Ledger.
There's music in the air. Family and friends are everywhere. Blue Blaze specials, ripping grits to spare. We'll all sing along while we eat our share. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Yes, I do.
Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Wart, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available.
Welcome back to the High School Football Network signing day event here at the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm joined now with president of the High School Football Network, Josh McNulty. Josh, how you doing?
Man, good. How are you?
Doing good. Another one on its way now to being in the books. Of course, this is the biggest day of all, as most players in the country make their decision on this day. It's interesting. We're starting to see some different trends in recruiting, a lot of early signees. And as Hugh mentioned earlier, you don't have to sign today if you're a high school player. This is just the first day you can officially sign unless you're an early enrollee. And so knowing that, how much have you learned about how the recruiting landscape changes by the second as you kind of your first year into this recruiting opportunity?
Well, and you touched on it. We started doing this thing last year, and this is our first full year of hitting the trail and trying to get these great prospects, great families to our events. And I'm sure I feel, and we all feel, like we're college coaches. We're tired, but there's exhilaration. The culmination of so many hours, just trying to make this event special for the families, the prospects, the players, the coaches that are involved. I would be remiss if I didn't say a special thank you to all of our sponsors that make this happen. The Rogue has been so generous. Everybody that you've seen, every prospect that you've seen today has been outfitted by the Rogue, and they do that with us, and we're so fortunate to have them part of it. Georgia Blue, their food is tremendous. We were able to get them on for the CAM event, and it's just been unbelievable. They've been so gracious, so great to work with. Craddock Oil Company, they have just been outstanding with us, and we couldn't do all this without their support. And obviously the biggest one is the Clarion Ledger, just how much help they have given us, and the venue today is unbelievable. Hugh and his staff have been great, so gracious with us the whole year leading up to this, whether it's us being able to talk with the Dandy Dozens at their shoot. That's just, we're so blessed to be part of that, and like I said, Hugh and Will and everybody on their staff have gone the extra mile for us, and really, really appreciative of them.
Well, let's talk some. I asked Hugh earlier when I interviewed him, we were talking about the process for them in terms of whether it's evaluation or getting to know the kids, how that starts. And he talked about starting in July as they unveil their Dandy Dozen players. I'm curious, for the High School Football Network, where does this start? And how does it start? And how do you determine whether it's the rankings on the mobile app leading up to a lot of other events you do? How do we get to this point?
Well, the start is our annual 7-on-7. We've been doing it for 6 or 7 years. This will be our 7th year, and it really kickstarts the football season in June. We're going to have it again this year. Last year we had 36 of the top teams around the state, and we're really able to stay in communication with the coaches, stay in communication with the players, and typically we have the upper echelon teams within the state. So we're able to see these players and start that communication early, and we're already getting that thing going. As you know, as our staff knows, we've been receiving some phone calls about getting it on the schedule this year, and we're really, really excited about our 7-on-7. Restarting the football season for 17 and 18.
Quick plug for that 7-on-7, if you don't mind me taking it. Where can coaches or athletes that are interested, or even fans that want to know more about it? Well, I know we'll have some stuff coming out, but if you're a coach and you're interested in being a part of it, what can they do? Can they reach out on Twitter, the website, email?
That's right.
What's the best way to do that?
Twitter, the website has our email. Obviously, we're really active on Twitter, Facebook. Most of the coaches in the state kind of have our contacts, so reach out if you guys are interested in coming back to it. But there are a couple of ways that you can get in contact with us, and we'd love to have you if you're looking for somewhere to be. It's June 24th this year. We're going to have it at Brandon at Shiloh Park. They just renovated their facilities, and they are tremendous, the best in the metro, and we're really excited. about having it over there, and I know you are, being where you have your roof over your head at night in Brandon. So
that will be a quick transition for me for sure.
Yeah,
Josh. So far, we've had a really good program, and we've had some top athletes and top choices. A lot of folks staying home. Some folks in the SEC that are moving out. Sadiq, of course, chooses LSU. That was the first of the Dandy Dozens to fall here on the show. We've got 2 more, and they're going to be big-time players. As we lead up to that, talk about getting to know these players and their families in the process.
Well, we've been fortunate, and it's my favorite thing to do with us is basically go out, get to meet these great players, and get to meet their families. And what you find, what we have found is all of these high-end players have a great foundation at home, and their parents. I mean, you listen to Sadiq, and it's just, hey, if he's not going to be successful, I don't know who he is. Same thing with Cam Akers and C.J. Avery and Darius Mayberry, who are our early enrollees, and then today, obviously, we've had a tremendous group up to now, and then we got 2 Dandy Dozens to finish the day out. I see Aaron back there getting ready, and then Dede after him. So it has been an incredible experience from that standpoint. As you know, I think a lot, and I said this on the Cam Akers event, you know, a lot of people are watching this and say, hey, look, that's just a name on the depth chart, you know, but we really want everybody to kind of get to know these prospects, and you know, because I've been fortunate enough to get to know these guys, and look, I'm rooting for them. You know, they are just tremendous people and players, you know, that get them to this point. So I'm really excited about. We had 6 of the top 12 prospects in the state of Mississippi announced live with us, and really fortunate to be a part of their days.
Well, Josh, we appreciate you always coming on, answering some questions, talking about sponsors, talking about the future of the High School Football Network. We're going to go now to a commercial break, and when we return, we will find out where Aaron Odom will play for the next 4 years. So choose between Mississippi State and Louisville. This is the High School Football Network signing day event at the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi.
Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977. Call Ambulatory Equipment Services for all your CPAP needs. We offer a full array of CPAP masks from industry-leading vendors such as Respironics and ResMed. Ambulatory Equipment Services has been offering quality service and products since 1983. Call today for your CPAP needs at 601-849-4125 or toll free at 800-844-4125.
We are nearing the very end of this special day for a lot of players across the Magnolia State. It's the High School Football Network signing day event. Jeremy Kennedy and Christian Burr with you. We've got once again Coach Darius Brown from Callaway. Coach, you're kind of becoming the 3rd member of our crew here today. We're glad to have you guys.
Yeah, I hear you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're certainly glad to have you. And we're now at a guy that I think it's fair to say, not just from a state standpoint, but a national standpoint, one of the top recruits, one of the top players that you've had. Aaron has had such a fantastic career playing for you, and I know he's going to make one fan base really happy in a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's going to get one heck of a ball player. Aaron Odom, what can you say? He's an All-American football player, All-American kid. He comes from good parents, got a good family support system. I actually coached his older brother Derek, that went to LSU, won a national championship with Les Miles. So it's in his pedigree. His dad was an All-American football player that went to Southern Mississippi. It's just, he's got a kind of special place to me because I was his D-line coach before I was his high school, before I was his head coach. Sure. The one word that describes him is grinder, man. Just a grinder. I've never corrected him twice on anything since I've coached him. He's a great student. He studies the game. He studies pass rushers. probably the most prolific pass rusher I've ever had. I'm sitting at home last Friday night after I lead a basketball game. He and I were actually together, and it comes across my phone. On top of all the other accolades he's amassed, he made first-team parade All-American. That's a huge accomplishment.
Sure.
Someone is about to get a day one ready guy ready to play. And you're getting a guy that you can put on your billboard and represent and be the face of your school. You don't have to worry about Aaron Odom at night when you're at home in the bed worrying if he's going to do the right thing. He does the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Well, quickly, he's a guy, defensive line. You talked about being his defensive line coach, 25 sacks. What is it about
28 and a half.
28 and a half, you go. What about his game? It allows him to be, as you said, a guy that's D1 ready next year.
His work ethic, and he's explosive. What people don't understand is he had 17 and a half sacks last year, and he was a linebacker before last season. In 22 games, he's amassed 17 sacks, 28 and a half sacks. You do the math, that's close to 50 sacks in 2 seasons. Kind of on another level than Valdez, he hadn't even figured it out yet. Once he figures it out, somebody is going to have an NFL caliber player. And I think this guy is going to be very, very special. It's going to be special.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate you coming and be a part, bringing your guys here.
Anytime.
And we certainly hope that you'll continue to do that. But right now, we're going to go to the last of the Callaway crew. Aaron Odom, a big-time guy making a big-time commitment. Aaron, take it away.
Hey, I'm Aaron Odom. First off, I want to thank God, thank my family, thank all the coaches that recruited me. For the next 4 years, I'll be going to Mississippi State University.
Aaron Odom. So the back and forth with Aaron Odom ends with the Bulldogs picking up a really, really talented defensive player, one of the better defensive ends in Mississippi, probably the best at this point. Aaron Odom signed to Mississippi State, a huge get for the Bulldogs and a guy that we think can really make an impact early.
A player that goes full circle, is committed to Mississippi State for quite some time. Mississippi State changes defensive coordinators. Of course, their former defensive coordinator goes to Louisville. He commits to Louisville, but then now comes back full circle, and it makes a lot of sense. He's very comfortable with Mississippi State. He's comfortable with that staff. He knows a lot of players there, and he makes a lot of sense for that defense. He fits perfectly in what they do, and he looks like the type of player that Mississippi State's really hung their hat on and made a living with and been successful with on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he certainly can play a lot of different positions. He's got good size at 6'3", 256, but he's athletic and quick enough. He can play the outside linebacker in a 3-4 set if they want to do some different things with him. But obviously, when he puts his hand down and when he really gets after the quarterback, he can be so disruptive.
Jeremy, 25 sacks this year. I think he had almost 20 sacks, maybe even had 20 sacks in his junior year. He's a player that's so good at getting to the quarterback, and when he's on, he's unblockable. The big step for Odom is going to be, can he be consistent, and can he continue to keep his motor running? If he does, you're talking about a player that can find himself in the league.
Yeah, and certainly Aaron Odom, you look at that defensive line, the Bulldogs have a lot of really talented players, some depth in there as well, so he's got a chance to go in there and learn and play and get better through competition. So Aaron Odom, as Christian said, comes full circle, stays inside the state, and will play in Starkville next season.
A good look at what makes Aaron Odom such a dynamic player, a guy that you heard Coach Brown say, a ready-made D1 player next year, and he is going to do it in Starkville, Mississippi, playing for the Bulldogs. And Aaron, right now with Hugh Kellenberger of the Clarion Ledger. Hugh?
Well, Aaron, when did you know it was Mississippi State?
It went down to the last minute. I knew back when I committed, I wanted to go to state. But Louisville made a hard push, and I had a real hard decision to make.
What was it about Louisville that you liked so much?
I loved the city. I had former teammates up there. I enjoyed the coaches, Coach Sermon, Coach Scott, Coach Petrino. But, yeah.
I know you had spent more time in Starkville. It was a long-time commitment to them. You went back to Mississippi State for an official visit. What happened on that official visit that made you go, you know what, I do want to be a Bulldog?
It just confirmed that I wanted to stay in state and that I could do good things and just play for my own city, my own state.
How do you feel about Coach Grantham?
I like him. I believe he's a pretty good coach. He had NFL experience, and I think we can bond together.
Yeah, I mean, that's an NFL staff. You know, Coach Baker, a lot of NFL experience. How exciting was that for you to be taught by guys who have coached the best?
Yeah, they coach the best, and I plan on being the best one day. So hopefully I can do that in my own state and put on for my state and play for some good coaches.
You know, they lost a lot of defensive linemen last year. Are you coming in? Do you make sure that you're ready to play from day one if you have to?
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I can play from day one. My dream is to play from day one, so I'm going to try to make it happen.
What do you do between today and August 1st when practice starts to make sure that you're in the best possible position for that?
First, I'm going to finish my schoolwork and just make sure I'm eligible and everything.
No, Mom's happy to hear that.
Yeah, of course. But besides that, I'm going to stay working out, stay running, try to be in the best shape I can be going in.
You know, you're from a football family. What did you learn from your older brother and your father about football?
That it's just a long process, and sometimes stuff changes day by day, and just I gotta work whatever I do.
Played a lot of great high school football players the last couple of years playing at Callaway. Who's the best guy you went up against? What guy you had the most fun playing against because he brought out the best in you?
Cam Akers, of course. He's known as, I guess, one of the best in the state ever. So when we played against each other, it just was a good opportunity to try to showcase what I can do.
What did it mean to you to be one of 5 Callaway guys that are going to sign D1 scholarships?
That's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of Callaway talent coming, and just hopefully years to come, there'll be more people coming out.
Absolutely. Aaron, congratulations on, I think you made a great decision to go to Starkville, and hopefully maybe we'll see, Florida State and Mississippi State play in a bowl game. You'll get another shot at Cam.
Yeah, we're going to beat them.
Absolutely. All right, back to you, Jeremy and Christian.
Pretty big time matchup if that would happen between those two guys. So the Bulldogs get a flip. Aaron Odom committed to State for a long time, committed to Louisville, flips back, signs with the Bulldogs. You heard Coach Brown, boy, he talked a lot praisingly about his players for good reason, but I think something special with Aaron Odom.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Look, when we looked at his film, his motor, when he determines that he wants to get to the quarterback, it's going to be difficult to stop him. You're talking about a guy with multiple 20-sack years and just wreaked havoc in a great classification. It's not like he was going up against smaller schools. He's going up against big-time athletes, and he has that build. He looks like those traditional Mississippi State defensive ends that just bring terror off the edge. Not surprised that he stays in state. Certainly a huge get for Mississippi State, and a guy that you want to see successful, a guy that you're familiar with, you've seen a lot, and Jackson can certainly be proud of.
And Coach Brown played at the Division I level too, so he obviously understands the recruitment process, can help these guys make some good decisions. So Aaron Odom going to stay inside Mississippi and play for Mississippi State. As we look at some of the other guys we talked about today from around the state that stayed in state, and the great thing for us is we were well represented as well. Jackson State guys, Ole Miss guy, Southern Miss guy with Emmanuel Dabney. So a lot of these kids growing up in Mississippi wanting to stay inside the state. Some kids go out of state every now and again, but well represented, and I think a lot of schools today got better with who they had signed.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and I think that we need to discuss what Tony Hughes is doing at Jackson State.
Sure.
I mean, listen, that was a huge hire when Jackson State was able to pull him away from Mississippi State. He was one of Mississippi State's top recruiters. But what he's done just from the staff that he's got, the players that he's finding a way to get at Jackson State is tremendous. And you heard Hugh talk earlier in one of his interviews, a lot of times Jackson guys didn't want to stay in Jackson. That's not the case right now.
Yeah.
As you're seeing, he asked that question to multiple players and prospects today, and they said, it's just something, they recruited me harder. They worked harder. So watching Tony Hughes kind of outwork everybody has been very interesting, and it's really good for the city of Jackson because Jackson State, I think, is going to be something that they'll have to deal with for years to come.
And he's the ultimate Mississippi coach. Played at Southern Miss, coached at Ole Miss, coached at Mississippi State, coached at Southern Miss. Now he's the head coach at Jackson State. He's covered pretty much all the bases. And so, Jackson State certainly got better today. Mississippi State has gotten better today, not just here, but when we talk about some of the guys, Willie Gay, Kylan Hill, played at Columbus, one of our schools underneath the umbrella of the High School Football Network. You know, they certainly pulled in a pretty good class today. Clinton, Cam White chooses Ole Miss.
Yep.
Isaiah Woolard from Presbyterian Christian chooses Ole Miss as well. So, you know, both schools, I think, and Southern Miss has done a good job of this as well, trying to keep as many kids in Mississippi as they can, and certainly build inside out. And I think that all three of those schools, as well as Jackson State, as we talked about, have done that today.
No doubt. And, you know, every year there's a player, and certainly we're not experts in terms of what our eyes see. We're certainly getting better at it. We do a lot of, you know, what both Josh and Hugh mentioned, and that's talk to experts about what we see and what translates. But one of the things that you see even at the level of the NFL, whether you're talking about the combine, whether you're talking about combines for high school students, whether you're talking about combines for the NFL, is hard numbers. Not only what they did, but what, you know, how they kind of grade out in terms of speed and agility. The player that's been the mystery for me all year is a Danny Dozen player out of Lake Cormorant. And, you know, Nick Nestor's his head coach, and that's Brandon Smith, the wide receiver. Iowa comes in, gets a player. He's a big, physical, and fast wide receiver. And, Jeremy, the thing that was so interesting to me is outside of Cam Akers, who broke almost every record ever at the Nike Spark Combine, Brandon Smith was next in line.
Right.
At a Louisiana, Mississippi. So this kid tested off the charts. But he chooses Iowa and really didn't get the interest from Mississippi State. Almost a lot of people thought it was. It was,
a little surprising.
It really was
surprising. I had a chance to see him play last year. He got really good size for a receiver as well. So you get into some of these guys and where they might go and you know where sort of from a position standpoint, the depth chart standpoint, where that helps too. And so, you know, for him, goes to Iowa, going to get a chance to play up there. And certainly, you know, we wish him all the best as well. But a lot of these kids, and we talked about it, Chase Rogers, tight end, we saw St. Stanislaus, going to go to Lafayette. You mentioned Archie from Brandon, going to go to Lafayette as well. And Miles Brennan, the guy that literally broke almost every single passing record in Mississippi.
So true.
Sticks with his commitment to the LSU Tigers and got a guy that could block for him in a couple of years, and Sadiq Charles, who announced earlier today on our app.
No doubt. And another guy that I'm really high on that was committed to USM and signed with USM today, Central Latham and Meridian, who's a player that was all over the field. Of course, Meridian, part of the High School Football Network with their live streaming. Also, you can see all of their games on the High School Football Network app. Latham was a guy that was one of those guys where, you know, he's just long, athletic, and rangy, and he played all over the field. They lined him up everywhere, and he made plays over and over and over again. So there's a lot of talent coming out of the state of Mississippi this year, and it's really led up to this point, a point where right now, if you want to talk about a player, you want to talk about the biggest in-state battle that's still on the board, we're at that moment for the High School Football Network. We're going to get to that as soon as we come back.
Yeah. You did a good job.
You like that? I really tried. I tried to.
It is an old-fashioned in-state rivalry between Ole Miss and Mississippi State for Dede Bowie, the wide receiver, DB from Morton, Mississippi, who will make his announcement next, as Christian said. We're back after this. The final announcement of the High School Football Network's signing day event is next. Where will Dede Bowie play next year? You'll find out. Keep it right here.
Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Morton, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available.
There's music in the air. Family and friends are everywhere. Blue plays special shrimp and grits to spare. We'll all sing along while we eat our share. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Yes, I do.
Call Ambulatory Equipment Services for all your CPAP needs. We offer a full array of CPAP masks from industry-leading vendors such as Respironics and ResMed. Ambulatory Equipment Services has been offering quality service and products since 1983. Call today for your CPAP needs at 601-849-4125 or toll free at 800-844-4125. Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977.
Welcome back to the High School Football Network signing day event here at the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm Christian Bird. I'm joined by Morton head football coach Ty Weems. How you doing?
How you doing? Great to be here.
Great to be here too. I'm glad you joined us, and we've heard from so many great players. We've led up to this point where Dede Bowie is going to make his choice between Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Alabama. Could really choose where he wanted to go. Before we get to that point, let's talk a little bit about him as a player. I know that he's as versatile of a player and as explosive as a player as you'll see. Kind of take me through the progression of when you begin coaching him and how he's evolved as a player.
You know, I mean, it was obvious. You see, in the first time I showed up at Morton High School, first practice as a sophomore, I mean, it's pretty easy. You got to practice those kids that are just phenomenal athletes really stand out. I mean, and it's obvious. First time you ever see them touch football, you know, your mouth is open and say, wow, this kid's going to be something really special. So, I mean, from that aspect, you know, you've known he's going to be a great football player from day one, but it's really nice to see how he's kind of grown into the player he is now and the man he's becoming, and just his work ethic and his ability and where his future's going to take him. It's nice to see that when he started out as a, you know, a 14, 15-year-old sophomore to get to this point now where he's about to graduate high school and finna move on to the next chapter of his life and go to college. I mean, it's really amazing to see how much he's grown from that time.
Let's talk about all the different positions he's played for your football team. He's certainly a player that is celebrated because of his versatility. Kind of take me through the different roles he's played.
Well, when I first got there, we started off and he played wideout for us for the first 2 seasons. His junior year, he played about half the time at running back for us as well as wideout. This year, we transitioned him into, you know, playing a little bit more of the quarterback position for us because he's such a phenomenal athlete. You know, we have to be smart about what we do and find a way to get him the football as many times as we can. And, you know, he came to me about the second game of the year. He's like, I told him, I said, I need you to play quarterback. And, you know, he's unselfish. I mean, he wants to do whatever it takes to win. He's just that type of competitor. And, you know, he told us that, Coach, I do whatever you need me to do, play quarterback, whatever, running back, doesn't really matter. You just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll be willing to do it. And so it was great for us because it gave us the opportunity to give him the ball every play. And obviously, you know, the more he touches it, the better we are.
Let's talk a little bit about where he could project at the next level. Certainly he has the ability to play a number of positions and be successful because of the type of the athlete that he is. Tell me where you think he fits most naturally.
I mean, I don't want to try to say what he can or cannot do. I mean, he has the opportunity and the ability. He can be what he wants to be, obviously. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete. That's first and foremost. But, you know, he's the type of kid that he is extremely athletic. It would give him the opportunity to play a certain number of positions on offense, a certain number of positions on defense. You know, he's not done growing. He's still a young kid. I mean, you know, you get to a college weight room program, you don't know what he's going to develop into in the future. He could play offense, he could play defense. I mean, it's not my job to figure that out. That's for college coaches to figure out.
Well, he certainly played all the positions for you, so we'll see what happens moving forward. We now go to Dede Bowie making his decision between Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Alabama, and LSU on the High School Football Network.
Hey, I'm Dede Bowie. I'm from Moore High School. I will be attending. The real one.
Dede Bowie. So Dede Bowie, a guy that's been committed to Ole Miss for so long, a little back and forth, some drama there late, but ultimately sticks with the Rebels, and a guy that certainly will be able to make a big impact on the next level.
Really good players mean a lot of people come after you. There's no exception, especially when it comes to Dede. And I think one of the things that stands out, you got a top 100 player still available in the state of Mississippi because clearly he was open there for a little while. Comes down to the Dogs and the Rebels. Ole Miss wins out. You get an incredible athlete when it comes to Dede. Looks like he's going to end up on the defensive side of the ball for the Rebels.
That's what I was just about to say. Everybody talks about him from a wide receiver standpoint, and you look at that and go, okay, well, that maybe makes sense with how well Ole Miss has has really flourished at that position. But this is a guy that could have flipped on the defensive side of the ball and looks like he will at the next level. And certainly from an Ole Miss standpoint, they need defensive backs, especially at that corner level. And his size at 6'1" makes him a little bit of an anomaly. There's a lot of 6'1", 6'2" receivers. There aren't that many 6'1" defensive backs.
There really aren't, and there certainly aren't that many defensive backs that are as explosive as Dede is. And so when we talk about Dede, his initial 20 yards is what separates him from so many people. And I think the ability to recover, to break on routes, he's got the potential to be a big-time potential NFL cornerback. If he's able to put it all together on the defensive side of the ball, it's a need for Ole Miss. It's a perfect fit, and I think he's got a lot to prove on that side of the ball, but I think he can go a long way by playing on that side of the ball in Oxford.
Yeah, so Dede Bowie, a guy that had caused a little bit of drama there late, ultimately sticks to the Rebels, continues that pipeline from Morton to Oxford, and Dede going to be at Ole Miss next season.
So top 100 player Dede Bowie decides that he is going to throw up the land shark, play for Hugh Freeze and the Ole Miss Rebels for the next 4 years in Oxford. He's joined now with Hugh Kellenberger. Hugh?
You know, we saw Sadiq earlier, Dede, and there wasn't anything on him that wasn't purple and gold. You kept it real cool. You walked in, we didn't know what you were going to do. Why Ole Miss? What made you decide to go with the Rebels?
I've been committed to them for like 2 years, and I know they go get a little in trouble, but I just feel like I'm at home right there. So Coach Hugh Freeze, he never lied to me, and so that's where I choose to be.
How much did that last official visit mean to you in order to finalize that decision?
It mean a lot, cause they came to my room, they were chilling with me, they were talking to me and everything. So I just feel like that they would go be my best option, and I can just consider myself in my 4 years right there with them.
Yeah, you go back 2 years when you committed. I think it was 2015. Why did you pick Ole Miss then, and did that stay consistent throughout?
I was committed to Alabama, and then I had I think Coach Bo had got fired, and we just fell off, and I had talking to my mom and them about it, and I told him that I was going to commit when I had went to the next game. So I had told Coach Hugh Freeze that I wanted to be a Rebel. So.
Your high school career, you played wide receiver, running back. You told your coach, I want to play quarterback, so that can help the team there. Play defense. Is there any position you can't play?
No, sir.
Where do you think you fit in Oxford?
I'm going to be play cornerback. I'm going to play DB. So.
What made you decide that that's the fit for you?
I got to researching, and corners make a lot of money. They get first round. It ain't all about how good you is. It's all about if you can cover and stand your ground. So.
You think that's a smart decision? Feel like you can get in there and play early?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Well, Dede, congratulations on your decision again. Hopefully, we'll be seeing more from you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dede.
You're welcome.
All right, back to you, Christian.
Thanks, Hugh and Dede. Now we are going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's happenings. Jimmy and Kenny and I will talk a little bit more about what's coming for the High School Football Network as we finish up on the High School Football Network signing day event in Jackson, Mississippi, here at the Clarion Ledger.
Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977. Call Ambulatory Equipment Services for all your CPAP needs. We offer a full array of CPAP masks from industry-leading vendors such as Respironics and ResMed. Ambulatory Equipment Services has been offering quality service and products since 1983. Call today for your CPAP needs at 601-849-4125 or toll free at 800-844-4125. Main Street Medical Clinic, located in Morton, Mississippi, has been providing quality health care to the community for over a decade. With convenient hours, you can now come in 6 days a week, including 9 to 1 on Saturdays. We offer services such as DOT physicals, vaccinations, and great prices on prescriptions through our 340B discount pharmacy program. Come in today, walk-ins available.
There's music in the air. Family and friends are everywhere. Blue plays special shrimp and grits to spare. We'll all sing along while we eat our share. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Yes, I do.
So Dede Bowie makes it official. We'll play football in Oxford next year for the Ole Miss Rebels. It marks the end of all the guys that are going to announce today, but we've got a special guest here. Ridgeland head coach Ryan Erdis is going to drop by and join us. Of course, Ridgeland, one of our schools with the High School Football Network. You were good enough to talk about C.J. Avery back in December. I know you got a chance to know Dede. Coached him at the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game. Just from an athletic ability standpoint, I know a guy you really like a lot.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Not only a kid I had a chance to coach for 5 days, but I actually was unfortunate enough to have to coach against him for a few years when I was at Collins and he was at Morton. And Dede's just a phenomenal athlete. He's very versatile, able to do a lot of different things. When I was at Collins, he was used more as a receiver and a running back. Very deadly in space. Transitioned more into a quarterback role as he got older into his career, and just a phenomenal playmaker.
For a guy that can play both ways, and that's so interesting now. You see a lot of these guys that can play wide receiver, DB. I'll sort of piggyback on Christian's question to Coach Weems. Where maybe do you see him at that next level? I know he talks about DB, but where do you see him project?
I think it's a fluid conversation with him. I think he's a kid that maybe goes in as a DB, but I think as, Coach Freeze sees a need or, lack of depth or whatever at the wide receiver position, I think he's more than equipped to do those types of things if he needed him at a running back. He's just a very versatile kid. I think that's what makes him such a highly touted prospect is that, he's not just confined to one position. There's a lot of different things that he does that he excels in.
And the other thing, too, is that just, you went through this process yourself as a guy that went and played football at the next level. And for these guys, especially these guys that have such big decisions, Aaron Odom, a huge decision, signs with Mississippi State. Dede, a big decision, signs with Ole Miss. For people that maybe haven't been in that mind frame before, take us through that when you've got to make a real big decision, and there are a lot of schools that are coming after you.
There's a lot of things to consider. You're making what amounts to is an investment, a 5-year investment, or what can turn into a 5-year investment, and it's got to be a great fit. There's a lot that goes into it. You kind of have to, weed out a lot of the window dress and a lot of the flash and dash that goes along with recruiting, and really ask yourself, what's going to put me in the best position to not only be a productive and successful football player, but a productive citizen in my life after football, in terms of what type of degree that I want to get, what school offers the best program. What's going to allow my family to be able to see me play? All those things. Family always factors in pretty heavy because you want those people who have helped you to achieve the things that you've achieved. You want them to have that opportunity to reap those same benefits by being able to watch you play. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I think at the end of the day, you have to just sort through and tear down all the layers and, just ask yourself, what is going to put me in the best position to be the type of person, the type of citizen that I want to be 4 or 5 years down the line?
The last thing I want to ask you, too, is just, you talk about a lot of the guys in Mississippi and how they handle signing day and where they're going to go. And it's amazing. We talked about, with Coach Brown, he had 5 kids from Callaway. And just what that says about a high school program in Mississippi, you can have 5 guys like that. I know you're trying to do that same thing at Ridgeland and other coaches, and you've had success at Collins as well. But take me through how high school coaches handle signing day, knowing it's your kid trying to make a decision and the role that you envision you playing as you continue to have kids make that decision.
Well, I think our biggest role as high school coaches is to not necessarily point a kid in a certain direction. We kind of have to take our feelings out of it and our job is to provide as much information to the kid as possible so that he and his family can make the best decision. It's really not about, where we think they should go or where we think will be the best fit, because at the end of the day, we're not going to spend 4 or 5 years at that university. So our job as high school coaches, as I said, is to provide these kids with as much information as possible so that when they make that decision, it's an informed decision, as opposed to making a decision where, I really didn't know that. So it's our job to provide that information so that when they make that decision, they feel good about it.
Well, you were good enough to join us with CJ's. You're good enough to join us with Dede's. We certainly appreciate your time and good luck. And I'm quite certain this time next year you'll be on here with some of your guys as well. Coach Ryan Erst of the Ridgeland Titans. Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. We'll wrap this up. The High School Football Network signing day event rolls along live from the Clarion Ledger in Jackson.
There's music in the air. Family and friends are everywhere. Blue plates, special shrimp and grits to spare. We'll all sing along while we eat our share. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Ooh, Georgia blue. I love me some Georgia blue. Yes, I do.
Looking for office space? American Acquire Corporation has commercial office space for rent in Madison. Located right off Highway 463 in front of the Mississippi Hospital Association, you'll find beautiful landscaping and good scenery with good parking and easy access. Flexible rental terms and 1,500 to 2,500 square feet to rent. Address is 1 Wood Green Place. For more information, call 601-955-1977.
Welcome back one last time to the Clarion Ledger as they host the High School Football Network National Signing Day event. We're so glad to have you along with us. Brought to you by Craddock and also the Rogue as well, the official menswear of the High School Football Network. So we just talked to Coach Ryan Ernest as Christian and I will kind of wrap up the entire day so far. And I thought it was really interesting what he talked about, the role as coaches. We had Coach Brown, a little bit like Coach Davis in our JUCO signing event with Colin. It's so many guys signed. Sort of felt like he was, I joked, the third member of our crew, but you could tell Coach Brown has such an affection for his kids and all the coaches that have joined us today. But I thought it was really nice, Coach Ernest, kind of laying out there what coaches should do in their role in trying to help these kids make a decision.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the thankless part of the recruiting process. There needs to be somebody there to help them and make sure that things are in order. I mean, listen, a counselor at a school is limited to having all of these kids, but a coach can really hone in on his players. And so to see that type of guidance and that type of reflection makes you feel good about upcoming players in the state of Mississippi, because now they know what needs to happen. Coaches know what they need to do. They don't always necessarily do that, but certainly we've heard from some that exercise that right and do it really well.
Yeah, Jackson State got much better today. Southern Miss got better today. Everybody, I mean, Ole Miss got some huge commitments today. Mississippi State got some big-time commitments as well. So I think both of those schools did well. But obviously you look at the guys, too, and we try to get as many of the top Mississippi kids and guys that we really have gotten to know as possible, and pretty evenly across the board. I think you're seeing a lot of schools in Mississippi really trying to keep kids inside the state. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But for the most part today, the Magnolia State really did well.
Yeah, they really did. And again, you always like to celebrate kids that you've watched for several years or more on the gridiron. And so today is a happy day for the High School Football Network, as we have a lot of different players we can now pull for at different schools on Saturdays. And certainly that's something we want to do, see successful transitions from high school to college and watch those lives change, for them to not only be educated but to come on to be stars, hopefully even at the next level.
Yeah, and this has grown for us as well. A year ago at this time, we were at the High School Football Network. We're in Macon, Mississippi, and in Starkville. Jeffrey Simmons to Mississippi State, A.J. Brown to Ole Miss, and it's kind of come full circle with a lot of guys this year. The junior college and early enrollees, Cam Akers, and the National Signing Day event this year in February. We've certainly had a blast, and obviously for us, just like with these college coaches, we still got some work coming around the corner. It's never going to stop for us.
No doubt. We'll continue to work with our fantastic sponsors who make all of this possible, Craddock Oil, the Rogue, Georgia Blue, and the Clarion Ledger. And as those continue to develop, those relationships continue to work, we'll cultivate new and fresh ideas and new things related to live streaming, and for you to see all of the things that are happening in the lives of the great prospects in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, and also, too, coming up in the next few weeks is a lot of these teams kind of get out and start the spring practice portion of the football schedule. We'll start to kind of get our rankings on the app going on as well, the top 10 rising seniors, the top 5 rising juniors. Then before you know it, it'll be 7-on-7 time, and then it'll be kickoff in the fall. So this thing, at the end perhaps of the 2016 season today, but also the beginning of the 2017 season for real.
No doubt. You couldn't have worded it any better. And I think on that note, we'll let everyone enjoy the rest of the afternoon. For Jeremy Kennedy, I'm Christian Bird here at the High School Football Network National Signing Day show at the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi. Have a great day.